You may know the words to your national anthem, but do you know its true history? The story of the national anthem is not a story of music, it's a story of political revolution, national identity, and the very birth of the modern nation-state. And why does a simple piece of music, often just a minute or two long, possess the incredible power to unite millions, move Olympic athletes to tears, or even be outright banned by a government for being too politically dangerous? You may know the words to your national anthem, but do you know its true history? The story of the national anthem is not a story of music, it's a story of political revolution, national identity, and the very birth of the modern nation-state. For centuries, nations used royal salutes or battle hymns, yet the concept of a single, official, universally accepted national anthem that represents all the people, the citizen's song, is a surprisingly recent invention. It is a product of the last 250 years. At its core, a national anthem is a designated musical composition that officially recognizes and celebrates the history, traditions, and struggles of a country. But critically, it serves as a powerful tool of standardization. Think about it. When diplomats meet, when soldiers march, or when athletes compete, there must be a common standard to represent that entire society. The anthem provides that instantaneous, recognizable sonic symbol. Consider this fascinating fact. The tune to the British anthem, God Save the King, or Queen, is so recognizable and so successful that its melody has been adopted by over 20 other countries or royal houses for their own official purposes. It became the default sound of nationhood for decades. This begs the question, how did we go from that simple, easily copied royal tune to the complex, emotionally charged, and highly specific national songs we know today? To answer that, we must first look at the foundations in the pre-anthem era. If the modern national anthem is an invention of the last 2.5 centuries, what did the entities we now call nations, the kingdoms and empires of that time, use before? The answer is songs of power, primarily falling into 3 categories. First, you had the royal odes and court hymns. These were songs not about the nation or the people, but specifically about the reigning monarch or dynasty. Their sole purpose was to affirm the divine right of kings and the legitimacy of the royal line. They were sophisticated pieces of music, often commissioned by the crown, and sung only at specific royal ceremonies. They were songs of a single family, not the collective state. Second, there were the military marches and battle songs. These were functional, designed for the battlefield to lift morale, ensure rhythmic marching, and intimidate the enemy. Think drums, brass, and repetitive, powerful choruses. These songs were about the moment of conflict and the bravery of the army, not the enduring identity of the country itself or the civilian population. And finally, you had religious hymns or folk songs that, over time, developed patriotic significance. These weren't officially designated by the state, but became associated with the national spirit through popular use, often due to their lyrics describing the land or a specific historical struggle. The key distinction is this. None of these songs were universally recognized, constitutionally adopted, or formally used for international identification. A royal ode in one country could sound just like a royal ode in another. It was chaotic. This lack of a standardized, singular song for the people is what the rise of the modern concept of the nation-state fundamentally changed. When the idea of power shifted from the king to the citizen, the king's song had to be replaced by the nation's song. This brings us to the crucial historical shift in the late 18th century, which answers the questions of why and when the modern national anthem was truly born. The true birth of the national anthem, as we understand it today, is tied directly to the age of revolutions. Before the late 18th century, a person owed allegiance to a king, a duke, or a pope. But the revolutions, first in America and then profoundly in France, fundamentally shifted the source of political power. Power moved from the monarch's crown to the citizens' collective will. This new entity, the nation-state, needed a new symbol. If the nation was now defined by its people and a shared identity, a concept we call nationalism, it needed a song that was equally shared and defined by that collective identity. The old royal odes simply would not do. A revolution isn't fought for a king. It's fought for a new flag, a new republic, and a new psalm. This fundamental power shift is the why. Furthermore, as the world shrank and international relations became more standardized, a practical need emerged. Imagine two armies meeting on a battlefield, or two diplomats signing a treaty. How does each entity quickly and unambiguously identify itself to the other? It needed a uniform, symbolic, and easily recognizable representation. The flag provided the visual standard, while the anthem, that sonic ID card, became the oral standard, immediately unifying the people who sang it and clearly identifying them to the world. This standardization became crucial, particularly with the growth of international events like the Olympic Games. This shift meant three essential things had to change in the music. 1. Lyrics. They needed to stop being solely about praising a king and start being about the struggles, the land, and the future aspirations of the people. They became powerful educational tools, teaching the nation its own history. 2. Music. The music often became more accessible, marching band-like and easy for large crowds to sing. The people had to be able to perform their own identity. 3. Adoption. The song had to move from being popular to being official, adopted by legislative decree or constitutional provision, giving it legal and standardized power. This monumental change, this shift from royal ownership to national ownership, found its most explosive and formative expression in the song of the French Revolution. That story, the story of the very first citizens' anthem, La Marseillaise, is where we will begin our series of deep dives. So we've journeyed from the simple royal odes of the past to the politically charged, globally standardized national anthems of the present. We've established the why, the rise of the citizen and the nation-state, and the when, the age of revolutions. But this introductory look is just the beginning. The real secrets lie within the stories of the anthems themselves. In our next videos, we won't just look at flags and dates. We will look at the people, the poets, the generals, the obscure musicians who crafted these sonic identities. Up next, we dive into the song that started it all, France's La Marseillaise. We will uncover how a quick military marching song written in a single night became the world's blueprint for a citizen's anthem, and why that song was eventually banned by the very nation that created it. If you're a student, a historian, or simply someone who understands the incredible power of a song, this series is for you. Don't miss the secrets. Hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss our deep dive into France next week. Finally, let us know in the comments below what national anthem. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more national anthem stories.